Welcome to Whisky.com. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. Today I present the Edradour 10 years old, 40 ABV, and it comes from the smallest distillery in Scotland. Here, handmade in Scotland, smallest distillery. It's written here on the label. It's right, Edradour is small, but I know whiskies which are, in terms of the count of buildings and the square meters of the buildings, which are smaller. I also know distilleries with a smaller output. Here they say, indeed, only 12 casks a week are produced. I know distilleries which are even smaller. But Edradour has the smallest stills, and the stills are just the size they are allowed to be legal. If the stills would be a little bit smaller, then it would be possible to carry them around and produce somewhere else illegal spirit. Nobody will do this, but it might be possible. So there's a law where it's written down how big a commercial distillery pot still has to be. Nested in a pocket glen in the hills above Pitlochry in the Southern Highlands lies Edradour, the smallest distillery in Scotland. The neat cluster of buildings virtually unchanged in the last 150 years. Unchanged, yes, but they are now colored in white. When I first visited the distillery in '94, they were stone grey, as were the distilleries on Islay, which turned to white, one after another. Houses equipment only just capable of producing commercial quantities, as I said. Indeed, only 12 casks a week are produced, making Edradour single malt whiskey a rare pleasure for a fortunate few. I'm happy to say you find this bottle quite often on the shelves. It's, the availability grew over the last years when the distillery was bought by the independent bottler Signatory Vintage, owned by Andrew Symington. He now owns the Edradour distillery, and he bought it from Pernod Ricard in the year 2002. So they are already 10 years into production. What you buy today as a 10-year-old is produced by Andrew Symington. Using skills handed down over the generations, the men of Edradour Distillery follow the standards of those who have gone before. I think there's a steady flow of people over the years, but they inherit their knowledge from generation to generation. But I think there was a gap in between the production of Pernod Ricard and Andrew Symington today, and Ian Henderson, the former distillery manager of Lafroig, started the production anew and made tests and figured out how a distillery the stills work best. So this is a little bit of marketing saying blur. Only 3 in numbers, as there always have been. They continue to produce the finest single malt whiskey available. A truly handcrafted malt. Yes, there's a lot of handcrafting in this distillery. I visited the process. Edradour is golden in the glass. Yes, they do not color the whiskey. It's not artificially colored. With a delicious aroma of sugared almonds and a hint of Oloroso. Yeah, Edradour has a lot of Oloroso sherry maturation going on. The smooth, creamy, light malty taste is followed by a mellow, warming finish. And here you see this 3-man of Edradour. Natural color, really big. A whiskey of rare distinction. Here we go on the bottle. It's a beautiful new bottle with an engravement on it. Beautiful. And there's a miniature of it, so I do not have to open the full bottle and stay with a miniature. A wonderful complex aroma. Sherry in the beginning, oak appearing, chocolate in the back, and it's my first association is dark. It's not this light and fruity spirit like a very lot of distilleries produce in the Speyside, which is part of the Highlands. But this is a complex, dark and heavy aroma. The small distilleries tend to produce a more heavy spirit because the alcohol distillation isn't that clean. No, it's not the right word. It's not that exact, and the oils are going over with the steam from the still to the condenser. So you have more aromas carried into the final receiver, and this brings this heavy spirit. And there's toffee in it. Sweet fudge. Mouth-watering. Strong, even for 40%. It's strong, it's heavy, it's attacking your tongue. It's on one side it's the European oak from the sherry casks, which bring a heavy, strong aroma with a little chocolate and a little bitterness in it. On the other hand, you have the sweet sherry mixing up with the chocolate and honey and caramel. Fruity and sweet in the end. So this is a truly handcrafted single malt whiskey. It's different from most of the others because it's so aroma rich and strong and full with these small stills, and yes, really wonderful cask which bring a darkness into the whiskey in 10 years with no artificial coloring. You can see what the casks are doing to the malt. Wonderful. I think this whiskey will be available nearly all around the world. And if not today, I'm taking this video in 2014, so in the upcoming future, Edradour is expanding, and if they're able, whether they're able to stay to the 12 casks produced in a week, I don't know, but printing in YouTube wouldn't be that difficult. Yeah. Thank you for watching Whisky.com and stay tuned.